Yo, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the entire process on one of my animations. Currently, I'm working on a project of like a music video, and I got different panels that I need to be animating, and I've got a few of them done, but I'm working on another one. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how that's done, from all the way from blank canvas to a background with keyframes done, like a proper. This is not a tutorial. I want to preface that right now. It's just me showing my process on how I do it, just for you guys to understand how I do it. I'm not a teacher, but I'm happy to do tutorials on things that I know. So if you have anything that you want to learn, just let me know and I can see if I can do it. I hope you enjoy this video. You should be meeting me just outside now for some reference footage. So yeah, I hope you enjoy that. And yeah, stay tuned and keep seeing what I make. Thanks everyone. Peace. Alrighty, welcome to the outside. So, I'm going to be recording some reference footage. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it, how my process is, and just give you a few tips and tricks on kind of what to look out for and some things to keep in mind. Yeah, I think I'm gonna move you around. You're gonna see me do my process, and then I'll probably catch you back inside for the animation process, and then I'll break some of the stuff down for you. So yeah, enjoy some of that. She touch her toes, I let it ratchet shit. Alright, key framing. What I just want to go across first is the gear that I use, just so no one has to wonder what I'm using. I got a PC. I'm not going to go into the specs of my PC in this video, maybe another time. My drawing tablet is the Huion Canvas 13. This is my dude, and it comes with all of the gloves and everything that you need. And I'm animating on Grease Pencil Blender. I've been practicing Blender, so do not expect a tutorial for Blender yet, because I'm not experienced enough to do that, but I'm in the learning stages. So the first keyframes that I did in this one were to get the feel of the animation, like timing, spacing, how everything's going to flow in the general idea. And I wanted to compare it to the original reference footage that I got. So the first few frames that I put down is getting the feel of everything in translation to how everything appears in the reference footage. Like, how far away am I in, like, compared to the camera, and then how do I get closer? The second pass of keyframes that I did were for structure. The reason why I do this is because the keyframing stage is the most important bit to get all of your structure down. So, like I just said, the first keyframes that I did were getting the feel, how everything's gonna look, and like momentum, how's it feeling. Then I went over those drawings again, and then I did all the structure for them. This helps huge. Oh, please do it, because later on in your animations, things that you might notice if you don't put structure down early is that things can stretch and squash, change scale that you don't want. It can all get very messy very quickly. So be neat, be tidy. It's a bit extra work, but trust me, do it, and get the structure down, because that's what's most important. So you'll probably see me somewhere along here showing you the main points that I'm doing. But yeah, those are kind of the few ideas that I just want to come and tell you now of the keyframing stage, what I keep in mind while I do it. So yeah, that's the keyframing stage. Those are some things that I keep in mind. Yeah, catching the breakdowns. Alright, breakdowns. Over here, breakdowns. So the purpose of breakdowns after the keyframing stage is to give extra information for the animators to know where motion is going. That is the entire point of breakdowns. So normally you'd probably just draw them in the middle of keyframe A and keyframe B. Right in the middle, that's where you're going to draw a breakdown. So what I've been doing is that you might see that in the first few frames, the character looks pretty simple, like there's not so much detail already, and I will add detail later on when it comes to polishing everything, obviously. But the point that I'm trying to do right now is make it as easy as I can for myself, because it's just me who's animating. So when I've got things further off in the distance, what I'm trying to do is give it enough detail where you can understand what's happening, and that movement can be conveyed well enough, but that it's not so detailed, which makes it so hard for me to animate at that scale. But then when things come forward and closer to the camera, then I can add, Jesus Christ, then I can add all the detail here, because now I'm close, you can see everything. I don't know, you might have been flashbanged. So that is the kind of idea that I'm keeping in mind for this scene, and other scenes that I will do, but this scene mainly is what it's in mind. Keep it simple when it's far away, and detail when I come up close. The entire point of adding structure to our keyframes early on is so that we can have the structure, but so that we can add the detail later. So things are not sliding around and, like I said before, stretching and squashing. Like, when I come to drawing the sleeve and the jacket and the baggy jeans over myself, I've found the structure already, so I know where the leg's sitting. I've built big shapes for them. Easy shapes, I've taken the time to find where my hips are, It's just one shape. I know the shape of my chest and my torso. They're all simple shapes, but with the structure, I can get good motion down already with just keyframes and breakdowns. But then when it comes to later, I've done all of the in-betweening and proper animation phase, and it comes to cleaning up, I can then now sit everything and it will make sense because we found the structure earlier. I found it. It was all me. But yeah, that is the point on the breakdowns. It's to make sure that we have extra information on where the motion is going. That's the point of the breakdowns. Next up should be in-betweens. And that's just going to take a lot of time because now we're just going to start making everything look nice and clean. And probably in that stage I'll be adding some timing charts, but we'll see to when we get to there, when I get to there. That is the breakdown stage. Hope that was informative and helped. Cheers. Okay, in-betweens. The entire point of in-betweens is to make the animation look hella smooth. Thanks, everyone. Thanks. No, please. Thank you. No. But genuinely, that's kind of the idea in a nutshell of in-betweens. We did all of the important bits on the keyframes and the breakdowns of seeing how everything is feeling and where's everything been placed. So now it's just in-betweening it and making it look smooth with natural movement. Now, I said natural movement, and that can be a little bit tricky because you might think, okay, so I'm just going to feel in the middle of every single drawing. No, that's not what I mean by in-betweening. I mean in-betweening is figuring out your motion and then in-betweening like that. So what really helped me in this stage was I was practicing doing timing charts. Now, I think I might pull it up here or something like that, but you can see that with the in-betweens added, the animation looks really nice and smooth and realistic. But at the start of every single new movement, you can see a new timing chart. Now, in this video, I'm not going to go into like what timing charts are and how to read them and all of this stuff. If you'd like a video on that, I can absolutely do that. We can like do a 5-minute video explaining timing charts. But timing charts, in a nutshell, are a little drawing, a little chart that shows you how the motion is going to look like before the animators even get to drawing a character. So it really helps in the idea stage, how is all the movement going to look and feel. That is the idea of timing charts. So I used that after I did the keyframes and breakdowns so I could see how the movement's all looking, and I did it in every different movement. Now you might think, oh, but this movement from the start of looking up and then turning, that's one movement. No, it's one little scene of like something small, but there's actually like 2 movements in there. It's from looking down up, that's a movement. So you will see a timing chart from point A to B. And as soon as he comes up and turns, from here is the start of the next movement. So then you'll see another timing chart. And then when I come closer, you'll see another timing chart in each different movement. And then when I come hella close, and more timing charts down. So they're just mapping out every single point of different movements, so you can get the feel of them. That's the idea of the in-betweens, and that's the idea of timing charts. So, hope that helped. Cheers. So, tie downs. We have done the fun bit. Now it's time for pain and misery. So the tie downs, the idea is that in this stage, we're now bringing the character to life a little bit. So, like I did in the keyframing stage and all of that stage of simple shapes with the character, now I'm doing that more detailed, but like with things for the face, hands, clothes, getting everything like the actual design how I would like it. The main thing that I focused on through the tie down stage is the head, the face, because that's the main thing that's going to draw the eye, and also that is the most complicated bit, I think, because the head is turning a lot, so it means that there's going to be a lot of foreshortening, and I want to make the volume correct, and so the volume stays correct of the head, and I just want to make everything look as clean as I can in this stage. So, like the keyframing stages before, like I made an effort to have all of the volume correct on the arms and everything else, I'm doing that same bit here, more detailed for the details of the body. Tips that I'd recommend is go over your keyframes and breakdowns first with the tie downs, because then here at the biggest points that we did in the keyframing stage, the most change, mark those down with the tie downs on the keyframes, and then when the head turns, we all know where it's going to be looking and how the face is going to look, so that when it comes to in-betweening, we can be like, now, okay, I know from here to here the face looks like this, and then that I can zhuzh up the middle, you know, I can make it look nice. So go over the keyframes and breakdowns with your tie downs, and then just rinse and repeat with the in-betweens. Like I said, it's pain and misery now. There's no more fun. No more fun is allowed. It's just misery, so get back to work. So yeah, I think that's everything. Do I need to say anything else about the tie downs? No, I think that's it. Yeah, that's the tie down. Those are things that I keep in mind. Hopefully those tips helped you. We'll see what comes up next. Cheers. Okay, line art. Now the line art stage is not so complicated because before we did all of I did all the complicated stuff before, so now it's just kind of going over everything and just making it look polished and nice, as much as you would like it to look polished. You know, how nice you want it to look. I've seen people have really scratchy line art styles, and some people super clean. So it really depends on your taste. Yeah, it's not so tricky. I don't think there's any like big tips to give. I think if you have a lot of really detailed things, block those sections out, so while it's moving you can see that those are like collar for your wrist on maybe like a jacket or whatever. If all the clothes are scrunched up and there's a lot of material there and you want to draw that detailed like I did, something that I'd recommend is definitely block out that section with a bigger shape, so you know where everything's going to be sitting in, because very easily with wrinkles in clothes and finer details, you can have them sliding around, which happened a bit in this, so don't you worry next time. But yeah, I think that's really it for the line art. There's not so much there. It's just kind of go over, and it's going to be very tedious. It's going to be very tedious just to do it all. That's the line art stage. Thanks. Color. So this stage is just going to take a bit of time. It's pretty simple. It requires a little bit of pre-planning just to know where everything's going to go and how you're going to do it all. How I did it is that I set up a base layer underneath all the line art, and I did all my base color. So no shade, no highlighting, just the base color of every asset that I have: hat, jeans, jacket, skin, shoes, everything. I put the base color in for everything, and I animate it throughout. So that's all completed. Once I do that, now here's a bit of sauce. If you have your base layer here of all of your color done, what I did is I made another layer on top for my shade, and this layer, in the settings I made it so this layer is masking this bottom layer, which means if we've got this big canvas going, well, at least I think what it means. If we've got this big canvas going, and I've drawn a blob of blue right here, I can't draw red anywhere else, except only in blue, which means shading is going to become way more quick and simpler to do. So that's a bit of the sauce on how I set it up. Shading wise, I think it's really good if you just take your time. What I did is that I went over every different section on where the guy starts and finishes moving, and I made a style frame on what all the shade will look like in that different section. So first look, second look, third look, as the guy is getting closer and closer, each first frame is going to have fully shaded, fully colored, you know, so we get the full idea. Once I've done that for every starting frame, just go through it and go with like the smallest bit of shade. Complete, like I remember doing a little line on the sleeve, and I remember doing one of the wrinkles all over until that guy was done. And just it makes it easier for you, because like for the jeans, it's a really weird shape that I ended up having for the shadow. And what made it easier for me is instead of doing all of that drawing for one frame, I just split it up. Oh, there's a line going down. The shape is pretty much a triangle. I'm going to just draw the triangle. That's all done. I'm going to draw underneath until it's all done. I think those are the main points of color that I did. That's a bit of sauce that I learned. Maybe not the sauciest, but it's definitely sizzling. It's definitely some sauce. It's definitely warm.
The black coach of sorrow has taken you. My heart and I have decided to end it all. Let them not weep. Let them know that I am glad to go. Oh, but will they be angry if I thought of journey you? Not when the black coach of sorrow has taken you. My heart and I have decided to end it all. Let them not weep.
Now that's our guy pretty much done. We've from basic shapes all the way to finished and colored and shaded. I like it. I'm very happy with it. But now, just for that little bit extra to make it just that bit more convincing, what I did is that I ended up going with some floor shade, just because the reasoning why is if he's being shaded from the background's lights and he looks like, oh, it makes sense, he's in this environment, it takes you a little bit out of the experience if he's not in the scene. You know, if he's not right there in the scene, it doesn't look like he's standing there. So with the shade underneath him, it just adds that layer of like realism that he's there with us, you know? So yeah, that's what I did for the floor shade, just to make it so everything looks as real as I can make it, as nice as I can make it. Now that's all of the animation done, you know, from little shapes, no background, all the way to a finished animation. I'm really happy with it. I'm proud of what I did. I'm excited to make the next ones. One pointer that I have that I learnt a lot was when you do these kind of things, before doing the animation, make a character model on a piece of paper, wherever, digital, whatever. Make a character model and refine it so it has as least lines possible. The best kind of example I can kind of show you is Korra from Avatar The Last Airbender. Oh, not Avatar The Last Airbender. How the animators did it is they just drew Korra, her body in any pose, but if you notice her clothing, like there's not so much volume to it. They're just convincing that there's clothes there because they drew the body and they just drew lines, you know, like that's a sleeve. Do you know what I mean? So like, notice, and yeah, sure, there might be like little wrinkles and things to accentuate like, yeah, this is clothing, but it's not super detailed clothing, you know, like the clothes are not really like out here and extra drawings to do, you know, they're very much skin tight, showing you, like, you get the idea, that's a vest. Do you know what I mean? I learnt that heavily during this project because there was too many lines to keep animating. That is what I learnt, and I'll be definitely applying that for the next projects that I do. Yeah, so that's everything done. Thank you so much for watching the entire video, or you just skim through for some pointers. I really appreciate all the recent support, and I'm enjoying making these. So more is going to come out. I think the next guy might be a painting one. I couldn't tell you. And yeah, if you liked it, like, leave a comment down below what you would like to see, any other tutorials I can do, or things to talk about. I'm happy to do. And yeah, see you in the next one. Deuces.